Being concise is really important when you're creating that pitch. You've only got a very, very short amount of time right at the start of your pitch to start convincing people. One of the things that's very important is making people feel safe. They don't want to feel threatened in any way by your pitch, so you've got to get on their level. You've got to be talking to them in a way that makes them feel safe and comfortable. Choice, fairness, and accountability. Three very, very important words. Three of the most popular words in the English language. So try and use those words, choice, fairness, and accountability, in your opening lines. The beginning of your pitch is probably no more than 60 seconds, 150 to 180 words perhaps. What that means is you've got to distill down the essence of your pitch into those opening lines. Tell people the most important thing about your pitch at the beginning. It's really important that when you're pitching to somebody, they understand what you're pitching about. Far too many people begin their pitch with an introduction. They say who they are, where they're from, where they've been, all these sorts of things. The people don't care. Their time is limited, your time is short. You have to grab their attention very early. Those first few seconds are absolutely critical. So remember, make people feel safe and let them understand exactly what it is you want to achieve by the end of that pitch. We'll come back later in this course to talking about how you close that out, the sort of language that you use, but I can't stress enough how important these opening minutes are. If you come into a room not ready, that won't work either. So you need to practice being concise before you get into the room. Run over your opening line a couple of times. Make sure you know what you want to say and make sure you know when to finish. If you come in unprepared, if you come in and waffle, if you bore people with the opening few seconds of your pitch, the game is over. You've already lost. You need to think very, very carefully about how concisely you can deliver a pitch. My advice to you is to create that pitch, deliver it to somebody else, and then try and halve the length of it. And halve the length of it again. Keep it as short as you possibly can in order that that essential idea is delivered. So, like I've just been, be concise when you start your pitch. It's very important that when you're pitching, that you're actually solving a problem. Actually, it's more important than that. It's important that you're solving their problem. I've seen a lot of pitches where people have come in and they've got a fantastic solution to a problem that either doesn't exist or is of no interest to the people they're pitching to. So that means you need to do some research. You need to find out exactly what are the issues that concern the people to whom you're pitching. If you come in with a fantastic solution that's of no interest to the people there, then they're going to dismiss you straight away. However, if you hit that hot button, if you start talking about something that's been bothering them for a while, then that's going to hit the spot. And you can easily check that, because one of the things that you can do very early in your pitch is just to say, there's an issue here, and you can see if you get agreement. You'll get nods, you'll get people smiling at you. People might even say, yes, that's an issue for us. Once you've got that agreement, that takes you a long way down the road towards winning that pitch. So you need to be solving a problem. And another thing that you can do when you're talking about issues is to quote some statistics. And again, this is all about preparation. It means you need to do some careful research. If you look into the issue and you can quote some statistics at them, maybe stats that they haven't heard before and always surprising ones, then you will help to win that pitch. And when you're quoting statistics, don't just use raw numbers. Try and bring a comparison in. If you say to people, the problem is there's 100,000 of these, people can't visualize that. But if you said to them, it affects enough people to fill a football stadium, like Wembley Stadium, for example, then they will understand it. You've got to give people a graphic image when you're talking about statistics, that sort of staggering figure that then will make them think, yes, that really is a problem. So, very, very important that you do the research, that you find out what are the issues are that concern them, and then make sure that your solution matches the problem that they have. And obviously what you do, you emphasize the points of your pitch which match the solution to the problem that they have. If you're not matched, if you tell early on that you're not solving a problem that they have, well, two things. One is you didn't do your research properly, but more importantly, you need to get out of the pitch and politely say to them, I don't think I'm delivering what you need. Perhaps we should leave it there. So never try and over-pitch. Don't try and sell people something they don't need. That's not what we're here for. What we want to do is to make sure we're solving their problem by doing the research and delivering exactly what they want at that moment. One thing that's very, very important as well is to tell people what they want to hear. Now, I don't mean that you tell them something which isn't true. That would be ridiculous. What you need to do is to tell them what they want to hear about whatever it is you're pitching. So if you're pitching a product or a service, tell them about the size of the market. Tell them how they're going to make money if they get involved. Tell them about the benefits, not the features. I mean, we all know that. It's basic selling 101, isn't it? Tell people about benefits and not features, but people forget to do that. And I think when people are pitching, they do get rather obsessed. They get caught up with something they've created and they want to tell people about it. That's understandable. They're very proud of what they've done. But what you need to do is to put yourself in their shoes. You need to think, what do they want to hear from me in order that they're going to make that decision to work with me? And one interesting thing that you can do, and it's a sort of slightly psychological thing, is to find something to like about everybody in the room. And I don't mean to be sycophantic about it. I don't mean to tell somebody they've got a lovely tie or something like that. But when you get into conversation, because they will ask you questions, there'll be dialogue, toing and froing, find something to agree with everybody. Make them feel comfortable. Make them feel as though you want to work with each and every one of them. Don't isolate somebody. They might turn out to be the decision maker. So you need to be very careful that you go round the room and find something to like about everyone who's there. So telling them what they want to hear is about finding the elements in your pitch which match the things that they're interested in. Comes back to research again. Research and preparation. I'm always going to talk about those sorts of things because they are so important when you're pitching. So if you've done your research properly, you will be able to define exactly what the market is, who you're selling to. You'll be able to say how much money is going to be made and when. What's the timescale? When is the break even? When's the payback going to start? All those sorts of things, you should have those facts at your disposal. And remember, talk about the benefits of what you're delivering, not the features. People don't care about the features. They want to know how it makes them feel. A lot of all this is about emotion, isn't it? It's about connecting with people. And what you've got to do is to make that connection with each and every individual in the room. If you do that, if you tell them what's good about your pitch, which matches what they want to hear, you make them feel good about it, again, you'll be well on the road to winning.